Potentially damning new evidence tonight in the case of Project Gunrunner. This is a Justice Department sting operation where ATF agents bought guns from Arizona dealers. Hundreds of those guns actually ended up in the hands of vile terrorists in the Mexican drug cartels. Senator Chuck Grassley tonight revealing that gun shop owners have been warning about Project Gunrunner for months now. One of their emails goes like this, quote, "I wanted to make sure that none of the firearms that were sold could ever end up in the hands of the bad guys. I want to help ATF, but not at the risk of safety because I have some very close friends that are U.S. Border Patrol agents." Well, as it happens, 6 months after that email, two guns used by the ATF in the sting operation ended up at the crime scene of Border Patrol agent Brian Terry, who was executed in cold blood. Larry Pratt, president of Gun Owners of America, says somebody needs to go to jail for all this. So what does all this tell you, by the way, Larry, about the ATF and how they operate?
It tells us that their management is absolutely out of control. It's not just the store owners that have been trying to stop this, questioning what was being done, but agents themselves, particularly in the Phoenix sector, were also making the same warnings. We can't do this. This can't turn out well. Well, it didn't turn out well, and we can see what happened with Agent Terry. What has happened is the agents have identified being commanded by Washington, meaning Melson, the acting director of ATF, and also the Justice Department, presumably that's Lenny Brewer, the Assistant Attorney General over the ATF, as having ordered these things to continue, even when agents said, I heard I'm supposed to be letting this happen. Are you sure?
Now, Larry, let me just jump in here, because there have been operations in the past, going back decades, where we have cooperated with bad guys in order for a big sting. You allow the little guys to get away with certain stuff in order to get the big guys on top. However, whenever there is an operation that lets hundreds of guns go out, some of which have been used in crimes, one of which actually led to the death of a federal agent. I mean, that is where you absolutely draw the line and say that this has gone way too far.
The agency's explanation is clearly false on its face. Well, we wanted to see where they would go in Mexico so we could get the drug cartel and bring them down. Well, that was news to the Mexicans. Now that they have found out, one of their officials, I was watching Mexican television a couple of days ago, they're calling for the extradition of people like Melson. This thing is a major international incident, and the cover-up is very much what we saw in Watergate. Of course, except in Watergate, nobody was killed. There was another agent inside Mexico where, again, these firearms were found at the crime scene. And estimates are that maybe 100 Mexicans have been murdered, again, using these same firearms.
Now, Larry, we were short on time, so there's another charge that's come out here that the ATF, in order to kind of Bigfoot its own mistakes, is cracking down on gun dealers in order, again, to kind of wipe out its own sins. Do you have any evidence for that?
A memo went out, and one of the whistleblowers made it available, saying, you know, we're in a bad situation. This thing is broken in national news, and therefore let's get some things going that shows how good BATF is. And when they used 70 agents to take down a 61-year-old town councilman who runs a gun store, it seems to me that's almost in the order of Waco, where they had an invading army. At least this time they didn't kill the guy and they didn't screw up the arrest. It was allegedly for having made a straw man sale, somebody he knew shouldn't be buying the gun ultimately from a qualified person.
Larry, I'm sorry we've run out of time, but there's a lot more on this story. We'll have you back to talk about some more. Larry Pratt, Gun Owners of America. Good to see you, Larry. Thanks for being here.
Good to be with you, David. Thank you very much.
Coming up on deck, the small business.